Hello everyone, I'm BB Butter, and this is my first public video on my own personal channel. I'm using this as an asset to the small company called Buttercore, and while I do have projects beyond this little video, I want to do a yearly update on everything worked on at the time of Buttercore, and of course its subsidiary, Nightfly Studios. First up is Virus Alert, and it's an upcoming mini-movie being produced by Buttercore. It has a similar feel to something like Sword Art Online, in which the story primarily takes place within a video game, Blackfire Universe, and Jacob Butter, specifically, is the one under the creation of it. And so I think we should speak to the man, myth, and the legend.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. So this is of course the virus alert section, and so
Of course.
yeah, and so I'm thinking this has been a project that's been going for a minute now, but just has not had any like public thing for a hot minute, and it's weird.
Until now, I suppose.
Yeah, but like there's like a full like script and everything made. And we started talking about it recently this year. Not a ton, but I do want to ask, do you have a release date in mind?
No, of course not. I never released date for anything except for remakes and anniversaries.
It's fair enough. Do you have a year in mind?
Yeah, I think the idea of me having a release date for anything that's not a remake was physically rejected by the internet itself. So that might be indicative.
Okay, fair enough.
No, I don't have a release date in mind.
Fair enough. Do you? Because because we've all kind of heard about like how supposedly all the Gotcha Club like things have just gone out the window or whatever. So the question here, right? Are you gonna wait until the next Gotcha like game, or are you gonna try and do this in club?
Oh well, see that's the thing. I don't. I think what you're trying to say here is that because the Virus Alert was written to be made in Gacha Life, and then immediately upon finishing the script, Gacha Club came out. No, I'm not planning to wait for the next game. That'll just be a repeat of the same problem that we encountered the previous time. What I'm waiting to do is actually for me to be able to release some other stuff that I also have on backlog that you're most likely going to ask me at some point. So I actually can, find a decent window, because having a full like movie project going on in the background while you're also trying to update and keep on with like other shows and stuff at the same time, and also balance out everything to do with life. That's really the reason that it's been delayed, has no release date. It's not because of game files or anything.
Yeah.
I'm not going to wait for that reason.
Yeah, no, that is completely valid. Uh, in the thing that we've been talking about this year is because we had brought it up very briefly. There's been a lot of projects that have been talked about this year, but for this one, it was one of the briefer ones, and it was that Aidan was like, so because Aidan has offered to actually bring it upon himself to like produce it. What's your stance on that?
Well, I personally obviously don't mind. I mean, I've never been against handing over, like, the editorial or filming side of things to other people. That's basically how the Mutant Goal even still exists to this day. But I will say, I don't know if Aidan quite knows what he's getting himself into with Virus Alert. Because while I take it upon myself now, especially working for other people, to actually not go overboard with visuals and stuff, and like go into like so much detail that the person who's making it can't cope with it. It did not start out that way, and especially on my own content, where I think, okay, if I don't know how to work this out now, I'll just figure it out later. Aidan's method normally is, oh, this paragraph of stage directions here, or script or scene directions rather, I should say, that this paragraph here is too complicated. Let's simplify it and make the visual go on quickly, as fast as possible, and get it done and over with to move on to the part I can actually do properly. So I don't know, because like Virus Alert particularly has a lot of those parts. So I don't. It's kind of like taking advantage to the max of what Gacha Life, particularly at the time, had to actually offer. So unless he's going to go through all of that just to get the thing out, I don't know if he knows what he signed up for.
Yeah. Uh, any inspirations for it? Because this isn't like the premise of a story based in a video game isn't like the groundbreaking or anything, but I am interested in seeing what you've taken inspiration for in your own interests outside of all this and how it's possibly affected, of course, without spoilers.
Okay, my main inspiration really was just, I guess unsurprising when you think about it. My main inspiration was COVID-19. So this script, of course, if you look about the timeline, it was written during the most intense period of lockdown, and so the idea of like having it be set in a video game was was mainly so that the friends who were involved in that could actually connect and work on something together. And it just so happens that a computer virus is threatening to take away the game itself, which has become their only refuge. That was the inspiration for the plots and why it was set in a video game. As far as the actual like story beats themselves, inspiration I might have taken from other video game related stuff. I do recall that I had recently just finished watching Bofuri at that particular time, so that may have actually had an impact. But other than that, really, there's some other stuff like Dragon Ball Z Abridged, where there's a line particularly where Dende says no one messes with the white mage, which became the inspiration for one of the characters, who is the white mage who just takes no nonsense from everyone. So there's little bits here and there, essentially. I take things from like all over the place and just mash them together. It's kind of like my dad actually has a phrase for that particular thing, where it's if you steal from one place, it's plagiarism. If you steal from multiple places, it's research.
That is brilliant. That's great.
Can I also point out that my dad is a professor and works at a university, so
Oh
just double validation there.
no! Oh no! His students are gonna be like,
Oh, I'm sure he said that to all of them. It's you want to get sources for stuff at university, so yeah, it encourages them.
yeah. Maybe mix around the order a little bit. It's completely original. Don't worry, guys. God, no. I'm excited to see this one. This is probably gonna be one of the later projects, but I'm interested because this is also your first gotcha film mini movie. What's the length of this?
It's my first finished gotcha movie script. Because there was technically one that I actually was trying to do before that was based on a celebrity in disguise trope that was going around at the time, which I never actually finished. This yeah, this was definitely early on for that. It's the first time I completed a movie script, at least.
Fair. Now, because a lot of times what will happen is we'll say movie and we end up making like a mini movie or something. What is the planned length for this?
Well, see that I see that's interesting because yeah, normally what they said at my university, my university course, was that usually a page of any script is a minute of content. That doesn't always translate for what we do, but it should be approximately whatever the length of the actual script was, which I haven't looked at in probably about a year or so. So it could be, but I think it was somewhere to 40 to 50 minutes essentially, which for gacha content is movie equivalent.
There. I mean, cause like, I guess back in the day that also I guess counted as a film, right? Like for old Mickey Mouse cartoons, right? Those were played in theaters and stuff. So
Yeah.
that was a thing.
Well, yeah, that's true, but have the term feature length did still exist at the time, at the very least.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah, that was the whole Disney's Folly thing that came out. Oh yeah, I just checked. Virus Alert last edited like October 21st of last year. So it has been a while.
I mean, that's still past the height of 2019 at least, so that's some progress, I guess.
Well, I've gone back and done a few tweaks and stuff, or at least have had a read through or shared it with some people or something. Oh, okay. It's 51 pages. So yeah, anything like 50, 55 minutes or so content there. Maybe we'll extend it to an hour. It depends.
Yeah. And I guess the last question, because I think you tried this with Mutant Girl once, but you aren't known for doing trailers. But for the sake of the term film, right, movie, will you have a trailer?
It hadn't crossed my mind, but I'm open to the idea at least.
All right.
It's not really an extensive answer for that last question there.
Yeah,
Sorry
no,
about that.
yeah, that's okay. Yeah, no, thank you for your time. I think that's about it.
All right.
Yeah, have a good day.
And you.
The script for this mini-movie is actually mostly, if not completely, done. And has been for a good amount of time. Unfortunately, that is all we have right now. This being said, however, Aidan has offered to create this himself if Jacob insists on not doing anything as far as the actual creation goes. So rest assured, it's on the bucket list. And a cast list of Jacob Butter, ItzShortieChan, and Aidan the Best has been decided. The Pitied is a series produced by Buttercore and by me personally, and will take place in the 1800s, mixing mythology in one of the most popular times today in Britain's history. I can't say much, but I'll try to answer as much as possible. So the story, yeah, I can't say too much, but I will say that it takes place again in the 1800s in, I'm gonna say specifically London, which I think will give a little bit away about the kind of stuff you might see. You're gonna see sort of the Greek mythology mixing in there with the times of maybe Jack the Ripper. The medium for this series will end up being actually a TTRPG. Think Dungeons and Dragons, like Masks, Kids on Bikes, Call of Cthulhu, Monster of the Week, things like that, except in the Butterverse, which is gonna be exciting. I'm excited to see the kind of chaos that can come from it. And I think it's gonna be a really fun time. And as far as concrete things go, this one has not had a ton except for, well, okay, a ton thought out right now, except for the broad strokes, right? So era, main villain. I have a concept of big story beats, but it's gonna have to be a bit until this one comes out, unfortunately. But I promise you it'll be really cool if the broad strokes mean anything to you. This series, unlike most things in Buttercore, is not set in the Butterverse. Mob Slayer is an upcoming series produced by Nightfly Studios, and Jacob Butter is the one at the helm, along with ItzShortieChan, and is set in its own isolated world. And no, this isn't a multiverse, by the way. It's made by Nightfly Studios, which is a subsidiary of Buttercore, and is made by Shorty. So therefore, it's well within its right to make non-Butterverse material just entirely. It's its own thing. And this is Jacob's spin on normal Minecraft, but with Shorty's more complex influence. Let's go see Jacob's opinion on that. So what is your opinion on that exactly? Because, like, you have been really going for a bit more of a traditional Minecraft feel, and Shorty's been kind of pushing back on that, which Shorty has great series, don't get me wrong, but I'm interested to how is that connecting?
I don't know if we would call it connecting necessarily. It's more compromising. So what happened really was that the original intent behind Mob Slayer was that it was going to be just a reflection, like going back into like the really delving into the Minecraft aspects of that story. So obviously, there's the having also the game mechanics actually be part of how the story functions, having a lot of the main characters be like animals, villagers, etc. So So when in passing conversation, when Shorty mentioned that he was going to try and do he was going to be adding like more player models and all those other mods in there, etc. Which honestly, looking back, I should have anticipated. I realized, oh wait, we're not going to be able to get some of the other key like new updated things, the things that are in the vanilla functions. So after that, we just kind of had a mad panic conversation like, okay, how are we going to do this thing? How are we going to do that thing? Do we need the HD skins in there? Which of course, it's Shorty. The answer is obviously always yes.
Yeah, the HD
So that's
skins
what we're
look
kind of at
great.
right now.
They look great.
HD skins look great. You know what else looks great? The Warden. So that's what happened, basically. We haven't really breached the subject ever since.
The
scripts are getting approved. I send them over, so clearly there's not an issue yet. At least not on his end.
Yeah. Well, I think... Well, I mean, I think it really comes down to finding the right mods and coding. Also, because, like, I think more player models is also client-side. So, I think that might actually be fine for that. I think maybe we'll get worn and cool-looking eyes, but... Yeah, I tried doing that actually for Polar SMP. Problem being, because I wasn't using Forge because I had some mods. I think it was the light. No, it wasn't that. I don't remember which one it was, but I had a mod that no, I do actually use the Hide Armor mod. It's for Fabric, not Forge, and so more player models obviously didn't work out, so it's like, well, that's a shame.
I mean, if that does work, then maybe there's a possibility. I'll run it by him.
Yeah, I mean he'll probably know better than me, but you don't usually have release dates. Does Shorty?
Not for Mob Slayer.
Okay. How long is this one supposed to be? Because it's not... Minecraft series require talent, of course, to make, but they aren't animated necessarily. So they are generally easier to make than gacha, I would imagine.
That really depends, because the reason that I personally moved to gacha from Minecraft for a few times was to take advantage of, well, the advantages of it. Then again, from Shorty's perspective, he did the opposite. He moved from gacha to Minecraft, so I guess from his end, the production side, it should be a simpler process.
Yeah.
But yeah, as for how easy it's supposed to be, yeah, it depends. I mean, again, the scripts are created to be easy to make within, with what Minecraft itself actually provides and puts to the table. So, yeah, up to him, really.
That's fair, yeah. Do you know... Because this one is an interesting roleplay in the sense that it's not like... It's not Butterverse or anything. It's completely hands-free of any other connections. And so,
yeah.
How is that going? Are you taking advantage of that?
Well, I haven't gone out of my way to do something entirely different, apart from the fact that, again, it's set within like the rules and boundaries of Minecraft itself. But I guess I'm just taking much of the freedom of not having those requirements in there to begin with, so I don't even have to consider whether something is similar or different. Oh, also, you actually asked me before, like, how long it was. I forgot. I didn't actually answer that question. How long it was actually supposed to be. At one point, I think Shorty kind of went overboard. So we went overboard in conversation, and we said something like 20 episodes or something like that. Yes, it's not that bad, definitely not. But yeah, from considering that considering that I was trying to make sure that the scripts actually got revised, make sure that everything was actually doable, have some sort of input since I'm not at the helm of this one. Essentially, I've been kind of left to my own devices and thinking, okay, all right, I guess 20 episodes, fine. I'll see what I can do.
Hey, you can always do that beach episode, a obligatory beach episode.
I haven't thought about that yet. Yeah, good point.
Of course. I mean, which channel is it on? Actually, it just occurred to me because this is a Nightfly Studios production, which is connected to Buttercore, but it's really owned by Shorty. So who's gonna upload this one?
Oh, Shorty. I mean, I was going to say, I don't think we nailed that down specifically, but it was always implied in my mind that it was going to be on Shorty's channel because then the production side is all his. It's his studio. I pitched that to him for that reason, and also because the origin of the Butterverse itself was that all of the scripted role plays on my main channel were going to be connected. That was the original intent, was to connect all of those in some way. So having something that isn't set there, but also, we don't establish is actually connected from someone else's perspective, like Minecraft Adventures being in the Aidenverse, etc. It defeats the purpose. So
Yeah. I
yeah,
was about to
as I'm
make a
concerned,
joke
Shorty.
about that. Minecraft Adventures canon confirmed. Oh,
Oh,
make that a clickbait title right there.
yeah, Lord no.
Minecraft Adventure multiverse confirmed.
Well, I mean that is a thing because it's in the Aidenverse. So
Yeah.
yes, technically not incorrect.
Infinite possibilities for the Butterverse.
No, infinite possibilities for the Aidenverse.
No, I don't know. This seems like what you're saying. I get what you're putting down. I get it. Yeah.
Go stomp some Koopas, whatever.
Oh. Do you have how long is the cast list on this one? Is this any bigger or shorter than your last stuff? Because due to the original intent of it being mainly based on Minecraft, you can't exactly control like a bunch of zombies, right? It's not so. Hey, I hate English. It's not that easy to just like control a vanilla zombie, and there might not be vanilla zombies now, but under the assumption that it originally was, I would assume that would still influence what is. And
Mm-hmm.
so it's like how many of the actors are going to actually be in it?
That might be more of a Shorty question, really, because that's more like to do with body actors. As for the actual cast list, as far as we go, we haven't done auditions yet. So, well, he hasn't done auditions. So the cast list right now is 0. But as far as characters go, but it is many the 3. Then they have like cameo appearances. Shorty doesn't like doing multi roles for people. Trust me, I've tried. But so maybe something like I guess what you would classify as your typical amount of at least voice actors involved. As far as body actors go, I'm glad you brought up the vanilla zombies thing because again, taking advantage of what Minecraft offers, the original intent was to use the actual like in-game mob AI in order to actually coordinate the fight scenes. There are some moments when some of the actual spoken roles are still mobs, in which case they tend to be on scenes by themselves, or with others, so that they're not interacting with the main cast directly. So there's not like a major fight scene there. So really, all the combat is supposed to be using again actual Minecraft mechanics. So I would again hoping that will actually they translate well, because the way I've written the scripts is specifically using those mob abilities or having them present in there, and that's the one time I've allowed myself to be a little bit vague in the scripting process in terms of coordinating the fights. I tend to say what the actual main characters are doing, but not what the mob's response actually is, or I account for that. Like if this happens, if the mob takes this amount of damage, then this happens. If it doesn't happen, then so be it. Well, this is the alternative. So hopefully I've got all of that covered, at least on my end. Now, Shorty did mention that for one particular scene, a little bit of a spoiler, where the one character fights an Iron Golem for a bit. The Iron Golem is a spoken role, so you could just have the two body actors duking it out. You could cut away, replace the body actor Iron Golem with an actual Iron Golem, and do the fight that way. But what Shorty mentioned was doing specific fighting poses and stuff, which set off panic alarms in my brain. Because again, all the other fight sequences, if that's the idea, there are hordes of mobs sometimes that get involved. So that's one thing that I'm kind of worried about. But again, the scripts pass with no notes. So I'm assuming there's going to be a solution in there somewhere.
So
there we go.
That actually brings up a very interesting point. So you said that you have accounted for different routes depending on what the mobs do based on their AI. So one would assume, right, if an alternate route happens, then that leads to different sets of alternate routes. So how many endings do you have for this series in mind?
Okay, so when I say alternate routes, it's they mainly, after that specific direction or that specific fight, they all converge back together. So it's just like, if one character can shoot a mob with a crossbow. If it doesn't die, another character fights it with a sword, and then it dies there because the mob doesn't have enough hearts in actual Minecraft to support more than 2 attacks, sometimes more than 1. So it's mainly that. So it's not like there's like alternate endings or anything. It's just how the action really goes down in the moment, and then we move on with the plot again.
Okay. See, because I was interested in that, because it was like imagine if the mob does or doesn't die, you have like 5 different endings and only one of them actually gets released. It's like, I wonder.
Yeah, I would. That's the thing. I would have to do that. I mean, granted, I know that TTRPGs do this all the time, but I'd have to do that for like every single fight sequence. So there would be like a billion different endings if I were to go down that route, and I would never finish the scripts in my entire life. So unfortunately, not going to happen.
No. Darn. Get that like who killed? No, not that one wasn't multiple choice. Heist with Markiplier action in there with that multi-choice ending.
Mm-hmm. If anything, this would be somewhat similar to In Space, where a lot of the paths end with the same ending. There are a few, like pun intended, cool ones that you can actually find sometimes, but yeah, they're mainly you do end up in the same spot. It's just that this one takes far less to get to the same spot point in the form of just one moment.
Yeah, but I think that's also just because for that a multiverse is canon, so it's like like he can kind of do whatever he wants, and he does do whatever he wants. He like some of those space segments are wacky, man.
Mm-hmm.
Which I guess makes sense. I mean, it's his brain. I mean, you really see the ADHD come out sometimes.
Mm-hmm. We might see that with Shorty and Mobslayer as well. Who knows?
Which is an interesting question. Is Shorty writing any episodes?
Nope. So far, it has just been me.
Okay.
I'm not sure how that will translate.
Okay. Well, I was just curious because you're saying that that you might see that with Shorty, and so I was like, does Shorty have any little side things going on maybe with that one? But
yeah, no, I meant direction wise, because again, the few comments that we actually had about Mobslayer and how that would actually go down. Again, the alarm bells going off, being like, okay, this might be vastly different. I'm just going to trust that he's read the scripts and knows what he's doing here.
Yeah, and that he's not just doing the accept stamp, and then like 5 months later, it's like, hey, I don't like this one.
Yeah, it's like, well, too bad. I've written 20 of these, and they don't work if you cut out, I don't know, number 6 or something. We'll see. We'll see if we get there.
Oh, I got Buttercore Live 2040. How's Mob Slayer doing? Do you have a favorite character that you can talk about?
Oh, well, definitely my favorite character so far is Uriah. He's the one that I'm quietly hoping that I will actually pass the audition for and, land that particular role. When I say quietly, I've I've hugely hinted that I'm going to do my usual audition for everyone, to be fair, at least all of the male characters. But I have been saying to Shorty, if push comes to shove, want to be Uriah, nudge nudge wink wink,
Yeah, yeah, that's where those HD skins come in. You can actually animate the nudge nudge wink wink.
That yeah. If we ever represent that in some sort of studio sketch or something, sure, why not?
It's all right, because I know Nightfall. Actually, that's another one. So Nightfall, right, has shorts as arguably as part of its marketing. So are you
Hmm.
guys intending on doing that for Mob Slayer?
Um, that hasn't been discussed, but as I said in the virus alert segment, I'm open to the idea.
Okay. That about you know what? Actually, one more question. Just because, of course, long-term content on YouTube, I love it, but it is not the most marketable thing anymore, unfortunately. And so I have to ask, how long is each episode, right? Because if it's a 20 episode long series, what's the intent for each episode?
Uh, well, again, going back to page length, I think from what I remember, most of the episodes tend to be like 7 to 8 pages long. So I guess that would be something. I'm just thinking on the lines of like 8, 9, 10 minutes, just because I know what they say about like a minute of a pay of well, 1 page equals 1 minute of a screenplay. But I've known my stuff to actually run over that. So yeah, I'm just gonna make that sort of estimate, I think.
Okay. Well, I think that's about all that I got for you, Jacob. Then, have a good day. I will probably see you again later on during this little thing that I got going.
All right, fair enough then. See you
Yeah.
then.
Have a good day. It's still in early stages of development, though it's not as fun to say what isn't finished, and let's instead discuss what is, such as the writing stage of the first 3 episodes, and the fourth is at the starting point. Jacob is also weirdly passionate about this one, like compared to his others. I'm not sure. I guess you're just gonna have to find out whenever it releases. I can only imagine it'll be cool. Taming the Bad Boy is a Nightfly Studios production from ItzShortieChan and is set in the future of the Butterverse. Now, if this series sounds familiar, that's because it used to be a gotcha series on Shorty's old and unfortunately now deleted channel. Yeah, if you haven't heard of it, then don't bother trying to find the scraps remaining. It was terrible. Years later, however, Shorty has now moved on to Minecraft content and has refined his skills as a writer. But that doesn't stop us from teasing him a little bit. This series will consist of mutants due to it being so far in the future. Let me introduce to you some of the stars, such as Jacob Butter, Aidan the Best, Mary Posa, and Dylan. This will be a love story between two unlikely people in college, with the first 3 episodes of Season 1 already written and Episode 4 in the process. Episode 1 will be titled First Love, and we're excited to show you this. However, it's not going to release particularly soon. Look on the bright side, though. We have way more projects up our sleeves to show you. This next series, an untitled mermaid series, is produced by Nightfly Studios and ItzShortieChan, and is set in its own isolated world, and there's not a lot of information that we can share. Just because it's very recently started, but it'll focus on mermaids, as the title implies, and take place mostly underwater. It doesn't have a title yet, so there isn't much extra information I can provide, unfortunately. But, maybe next time. Enceladus is being produced by Buttercore and Jacob Butter. This takes place in modern day in the Butterverse, where we get to see an alien species called the Enceladites and their interactions with humanity. This, of course, being a new thing in the Butterverse, calls for conversation. So this is our first space series in the Butterverse, which which is weird. I can't say that, but we've seen a lot of different areas. We've seen the medieval, we've seen more modern day, we've seen the future, but we've never exactly explored the stars. How's that going exactly? How are you intending to show that?
So with Enceladus, there's the actual there's a intent behind the visuals. It changed a little bit from when it was first started, because obviously, like a lot of stuff that I devised back in 2019, it wasn't originally going to be a gacha. Then, out of nowhere, Dylan decides to that would be Taito YT, in case anyone's wondering, decides to send me a proof of concept of 3D models that were basically like rigs that he had done of like me and a few other people who were in Buttercore at the time. And then at the end, he said, instead of using Gacha Life or Minecraft, how about you use these models? So the purpose of like how to show the stars would be through that medium. Hopefully, we did have a little bit of like a test of that, just to see how that actually would go about. And then yes, you are, as Dylan is able to actually portray the scenes that actually do take place in space. It is mostly on Earth still, so not too much of a big issue. But at the very least, the stars, we have that down, and everything else for that matter.
So,
oh, I thought you couldn't hear me.
No. So, with this being a fictional story, right? A lot
I
of
think the
fictional.
description applies to everything that we do, but yeah.
Yes, but hold on. So, with that being there, of course, you have options for other, spots whenever it comes to space. However, you mentioned this closer to Earth. So then I ask, is this going to be in our galaxy, or are you gonna be like hopping around?
Well, that's the thing. Enceladus is an actual place within our solar system, in fact. It's one of Saturn's many moons. And the reason I chose that place was because it was the place where there's one of two moons, actually. The other one's Europa and Jupiter, which I found out about later, actually. That seems to have water and therefore somewhat of conditions where primitive life could exist. So, but not only that, because obviously it's also within our solar system, it means you don't have to endure like the light years of travel that would be involved in actually getting to Earth and playing around with like time dilation and stuff like that. So that's why it was actually making as close as it is right now.
So earlier you said that the medium for this wasn't originally gacha. So just as a what if you will, cough cough, watch our channel, the Butter Bunch. Uh, shameless self promo. That's a tongue twister right there. Shameless self. I hate that.
It is, yeah. Shameless self promo. Shameless self. Yeah, exactly. I get it. Yeah.
Not a fan. Yeah, I am a fan of our channel though. Anyways, what was it?
Is that the question? What was it?
Yeah, well, what was the medium before gacha?
No, that was the medium. Gacha was the medium before the 3D models that Dylan then pitched afterwards.
Oh, okay. Huh.
Yeah, actually, the It was at my my graduation ceremony from drama school where my mum was talking about some of one of the main issues that she had with the Mutant Girl. She presently checked out some of my videos, and the Mutant Girl are the ones that I talked about the most because that's the ones I would spend the most time like working on overall. Um, and she said that the main issue that she had was the fact that the lines, because everyone's mic quality was beginner's level at the time, that it was very hard to make out what people were saying sometimes. So I realized that, oh, wait a minute, I have access to a recording studio that they're gonna have like in the next university because I've already had the tour at that point. Why not just take everyone's everyone and give them and record everything like in situ there? So use like my actual uni friends and be able to like have a consistent microphone thing. But of course, I can't do that with a Mutant Go. Everyone is overseas. So the solution was new show, and then it evolved afterwards. It was meant to be my second ever gotcha thing, but it wasn't, obviously.
So, the lesson here to be learned, right? If you come into one issue, of course, the real fix, just make a new one. If one series has a hiccup, time to start a new script. It's
Try something else, but obviously you don't have to drop the original thing just because of the faults before. You can continue it along because obviously by that I don't want to leave things like hanging because imagine if I'd done that, if I just like stopped the Mutant Girl back in 2019, where would we be now?
Mutant Girl, Season 1, Episode 6. Oh, well, I
I
hope
think
you guys
yeah.
enjoyed, guys. Good series, everyone.
Yeah, exactly. Pretty sure. Yeah, it was like episode 5 or 6 where I was about like that around that time. You're right.
Let's go. That was a guess, too. I'm amazing. No,
Mm-hmm.
no. um, no, that was a lucky guess. Uh, no, because I was thinking, right, because, oh, actually, so you mentioned that there was the studio, but you aren't in college anymore, though, are you? So, how how is that gonna go now? Are you going to try and get a studio still for that series, or are you just gonna do the general method that you do for all your others?
Frankly, I'm not sure because on one hand I can try. I still in contact with the people involved, so technically speaking, I get them to send the sended lines as well, just with different. That just go back to the issue with the different mics and such. And Celdus was the idea of like having everyone record in one spot. That was ultimately the downfall of the series, however, because that was the one Buttercore show that was legitimately affected by COVID. Because while we were able to record a few things, when I actually had the first 3 episodes scripted and such in the first year, pretty much after that everything went downhill and it never actually got picked up because by that point in the second and third years we had so much more to do after that. It just ended up being impossible. So I don't really know. Quite honestly, I might have to actually try to replace some of the cast halfway through. I still have the salvage recordings that they had, but it might just be another case, much like the Mutant Girl, suffering from the same issues of season 1 of ironically of
Three Sebastians,
yeah.
baby! Three Sebastians!
Oh please, you think that's the worst? Try 6 Genevras.
There's six, of course. I got Mutant Girl. That's one of the bigger issues. Because, like, it's been going for so long that people just leave.
I mean, people would have already left even by before Incel started. Episode 4 had already aired by that point, and that was Maya's last time as Genevra, actually, and Reina. So it was an issue already.
I, it's ever changing, baby. It's the world finds a way. No one's gonna get that
Oh yeah,
reference, guys. Jacob showed me yesterday the Jurassic Park Employees series, the little trilogy.
the
So good.
sketches by Daz Black. Yes,
It's so good. They're so It's so funny. They have no right to
Absolutely.
be that humorous. Uh, we're running a bit short on time, actually, so I guess I'll ask just one big question. This is in
Yeah.
space, therefore, it's either going to be really minuscule to the overarching story, or has really big consequences. So I ask, how will this affect the Butterverse without spoilers, of course? Just, scale of 1 through 10, perhaps.
Hmm. That's an interesting one because I'm not sure anymore because it depends on when it actually comes out. Because when it was originally going to be set, obviously 2019, um, but at that point, it was the difference was that it was actually the first series that was supposed to be set in the UK. But at the same time as that was going on, obviously that would have meant that the arrival of aliens would have made the news as like on the mutant girl at the very least. It would have some concept of the aliens as existing. So depending on when that actually happens, the discovery of aliens and actually having to cement that into the status quo, it will if it's still in age in like the first slot, probably they would it would have to be either set a few years into the future or just set now, so that way we don't have to like retroactively say, oh yeah, they discovered aliens like 3 years ago, just never addressed it anywhere. And eventually, as it gets to the more futuristic shows, it will have already cemented into the people's consciousness. They wouldn't address it on a day to day basis. But of course, that means it would open up the possibility for space travel in those futuristic shows in the first place, because it's already been established.
Yeah, yeah. So, yeah, no, I think that's a good enough answer. No, we are really running short on time though. So, thank you for showing up.
Right.
Yeah,
Thank you once again for having me.
yeah. Have a good day.
Okay, you too.
This series began its writing years ago and was then never touched again. Well, until recently, that is. So here I am to say that the first 4 episodes are finished, with writing and the 5th has started. Among the Stars is a Nightfly Studios production by ItzShortieChan, set in the future of the Butterverse and exploring what it's like to be among the stars with comedy, interconnectivity, and tragedy, which is fitting for Shorty considering his taste in storytelling. This series is currently in the writing process and awaiting release. The first episode is completely written, and the second episode has begun its writing phase. It'll be a while for this to release, but as someone who's seen the script, you're in for a treat. The Sea Academy is a Nightfly Studios production and not set in the Butterverse. It's a self-contained world where you'll see the journey of a magical school and identity issues shed to light. Much of the writing is finished and is planned to be half cinematic and half first person. Actors had previously been on the way of being cast, but it stopped due to Shorty being busy. That is until very recently, however, when he started looking into casting options for characters and voice actors. He also has started building the map again recently. Maid Mafia is a spin-off of Moonlight Cafe, which is in the same universe as Tal and Nico's Odd Jobs. There isn't much to say about this except that writing has in fact begun. Though there are 2 other series set in this universe, this series is also in its early stages. So there isn't much to speak on yet. There will be, though. Rip in the Dark is my own Buttercore production, in which we enter a brand new medium, really, in the company. This will be the format of TTRPGs, something that I previously mentioned in the pity. Well, that's going to be in here too. Specifically, Kids on Bikes, though. And will take place in the Butterverse during 1350 AD in Norway. No, an interesting choice for the things we've shown, but don't worry, it'll work out. I thought it'd be fun. We'll see. This series is intended to release in April of next year. Exact day unknown, but the month of April in the year 2023. That is the intent. So, okay. For the interview, I wanted to get some questions. So similar to the pitied, I have a set of 3 questions here. What's the title a reference to? So, Rip in the Dark. This I can't give away too much because I think it spoils something big. But it is a reference to the start of a storyline that I am interested in that will tell a big story. It's just small little storyline. That I hope will explain a big like question mark in the Butterverse. One big thing that has always kind of been like, what? How did this happen? I'm hoping I can tell that story. And that is what this is in reference to. This is an exposition of sorts. How did the idea come about? So there was a story, a scripted story that I had intended um a while back titled The Queen of Death. And the main character was actually the mother, no, not mother, sorry, ancestor of Morwenna May from the Mutant Girl. Uh, it's not Death anymore. First off, I change it to the Queen of Darkness because that was more accurate to some of the things that I wanted to show. But then I was like, I cannot write scripted stuff very well. I would much rather I would much rather write in a more loose format, which is how TTRPGs are good for me, right? I have plans, I have events, I have ideas, but I'm not sure I could write down like, oh, hi, hello, how are you, right? Um, so that's how that's gonna go down. And so I also changed it to Rip in the Dark because the whole queen thing, she was gonna be the main character, but in a TTRPG you can't have main characters necessarily. Well, I mean, you can't have a main character, you have main characters, right? Plural. So there's that. Any themes to look out for? Okay. Aidan, love the guy. Not a huge fan of how liberated he is from the canon of the actual Greek myths. And so of course, I'm not gonna retcon his stuff. Um, I may have opinions on it, but I'm not going to like be like, oh, well, it doesn't exist or something. It does. But I'm going to be a lot more confined to the actual text, right? And I have very recently read a bunch to study. Not all of it, but a good bit of the classical era specifically. So, fragments of Oedipus, fragments because that's all that's left, by the way. I'm not like skimming through it, that'd be stupid. Um, the War of the Titans. I have read about a quarter of the Iliad, which I will read more, but been a bit busy. So you'll see a lot of things related to the actual myths if things go certain ways. So if the characters go in one direction, you may find us in Greece talking to the spirit of someone, right? Maybe. Or family trees, right? That's gonna be a big important thing that you're gonna want to keep track of in this one because it connects to certain things. It is intended to be a horror series, but if that doesn't go as well as I'm hoping, then it'll probably lean a little more to mystery and action too. But I'm hoping I can mix in horror in there as well. But it's gonna be my first attempt at it, so I'm all ears for criticism on that one. what I'm gonna attempt. So you're gonna get some interesting things there, and I think that's about all I am willing to say about it at the moment. This is the smallest cast of any series in the Butterverse, or in Buttercore at all, or Nightfly, due to it being in the TTRPG medium, right? I can't have 50 different people, but I I think this cast will be good. I have handpicked these demigods for the interesting energy, to say the least, that they can provide in a table setting. A dark time in history, 1 year after the plague hits Norway. And these are very humorous individuals. So I can only imagine it'll make some very good content. I want everyone to meet, right, me, Aidan the Best, ItzShortieChan, Mo Nation, that guy Cherry, and Echo Angel. That's the cast list. Drama Club is a brand new series made under Buttercore by Aidan the Best, and unlike the majority of modern Buttercore, and especially the majority of Aidan the Best content, this is done as a Minecraft roleplay, as opposed to the commonly done gacha medium. This series takes place in the distant future of the Butterverse in a completely normal boarding school in Britain. We follow students who follow a very normal theater class, where they rehearse things like the Bacchae. In fact, let's ask Aidan himself about this. So what kind of weird stuff is planned for this series exactly?
Well, we have some, interesting plot twists and plot points coming forward, you know.
Yeah. How normal exactly is this school? Cuz like
Uh,
we have those first two episodes. Things are interesting, but also we haven't seen very much of the school itself. Is is every teacher, insane, or
I mean, so far, only Miss is insane, but I mean, hey, the more teachers, there may be more insane teachers lurking around every corner.
they're just stalking.
Yeah,
If you
pretty
pause the if
much.
you pause the video at 15 minutes and 5 seconds exactly, you might be able to see the eyeball of one teacher. Mrs. Dysart, no. Mrs. Dysart has learned immortality.
Yeah, she's learned immortality and, like, survived to age 2 just to, like, stalk people at the school.
She has
That's
gone to the
obviously.
future. Yeah.
No, Mrs. Dice start learning how to time travel. She just like decided like, Fallen Angels is too magical. I'm gonna go to like a Britain in the future.
Yeah. I'm sure nothing will be wrong there, right? Nothing's fishy about that school, I tell you what.
Yeah.
Uh
So yeah.
how many do you intend on getting very many more cast members for it?
Maybe I don't know, because like we may need more cast members for like teachers or one-off characters, but as far as the main cast, no.
Okay. So this is actually unlike a lot of our stuff, right? Minecraft. So do you have a favorite mod that you have for this?
I like more player models. It gives me the ability to have HD skins.
That's fair. That's fair.
Also, DecoCraft is a close second because that's where we get all our furniture. So,
Yeah, yeah. It's definitely better than vanilla.
oh man, this furniture and these seats are so beautiful. What do you mean?
I agree. I definitely didn't. I'm gonna be honest. Finding this map was probably the quickest thing I've done in this entire project. I spent like 10 minutes just trying to find a theater.
Ah,
And
yeah.
what people don't know, because I haven't shown the outside, if you go outside of those windows, there's just a bunch of like exposed redstone, like in a really messy way up there. We're floating in like the air right now. This is a map, but it's not amazing. I mean, it's good for
I
this,
mean,
but
this screen's pretty cool.
oh,
You saw nothing. With evidence.
No, nothing at all. No. Who's okay? So Jacob is wanting the third episode out by before Valentine's Day.
I think that's very possible.
Yeah. So here's my question, right? So if that is how long we are expecting these bits to be,
It
how
that's not how long I'm expecting. I'm expecting to get episode 3 out pre-Christmas.
pre-Christmas? Okay.
If possible, or at least slightly post-Christmas. But like, I would expect the first 3 episodes to be out before the end of the year. That is gonna be my estimate.
Okay. Sure.
And yeah.
What? Let's see. What's? Because I had a question in mind. Shoot, I lost it. Wait. Okay. Give me a second. That's right. So the question was, how many seasons is this gonna be? And more accurately, when do you think this series is going to end?
I imagine it'll be 1 season, and I have no idea when the series is gonna end. Purely because since it takes us a bit of time to film each episode, it could really be whenever I feel like we got an adequate amount of episodes. Because in this series, there's going to be a mix of fun filler and plot-based story progression, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So it really depends on how fast it takes us to make episodes and stuff like that. It will end sometime next year, though, probably. I will say that. But I am personally aiming for like 20 something episodes, like maybe 20 episodes, 26 episodes, something around those area. At least that's what I want to be the series length.
Yeah. And so far in the series, we haven't had a very good look at how this of the general trajectory of this, right? We've kind of had like this is the setting, right? But I have to ask, will this have any connections to the greater Butterverse?
Yes. But that is all spoiler stuff. So
Yeah.
eventually there will be a connection or a few minor ones.
Okay. Do you have any so with it being in the future, right? Do you have any very specific details for like of your envisioning of what the future is like, right? Is that going to affect this series at all later on?
Probably not as much, but there will probably be some mentions of future concepts like chat box and maybe mutant surgery will probably be mentioned verbally. I don't know if we'll see any of it, but that really depends.
Yeah. I can't because unlike a lot of these things, this has already started. Um do you have a range of episodes that you expect it to be right now?
I expect it to be at bare minimum 15 episodes, but I want to get to at least 20 episodes for this.
Okay. And I think the last question, right, is you can make this jokey, you can make it kind of a big teaser. If you could describe what is to come in the series with one word, what would that be?
Drama.
That is yeah, okay, fair enough. Thank you for coming then.
E.
Yeah. Have a good day.
Mhm.
I'm very excited that this series is out and we have some really fun twists and turns planned for the school year. Speaking of which, you should probably know some of the students and teachers, at least the actors for them. Here's a welcome to Aidan the Best, Basically a Ghost, me, Jacob Butter, JG Crafter, William YT, ItzShortieChan, and MHA forever. Oh, sorry, and that guy Cherry. Can't forget about him. In regards to the third episode, Jacob is very much wanting it out before Valentine's Day, whereas Aidan is expecting it to release around Christmas of this year. This is a Fallen Angel spin-off and a sister series. We don't have any crazy thing ready for this, unfortunately, but I would like to put your mind at ease and say that it is still very much in progress, and, of course, being finished. We are in the middle of producing episode 3, which will be called Long Lost Friend, and I think we should discuss the cast lists, such as Tamara, Blitz, I'm gonna mispronounce this, Taehyung's saxophone. It's foreign. I don't know how to pronounce that. My apologies. By the way, I did lie about us discussing it. That's all you're getting, baby. But you should get some more somewhat soon. This series is produced by Nightfly Studios with Shorty and set in the Butterverse in the distant past of France. And while slowly releasing, I want to say that most writing has actually finished, and we are in the process of getting episode 3 ready. Unfortunately, Otternos deleted the server, so Shorty now needs a permanent server and a rebuilt map. There are some really cool twists set to happen in the future, along with this, I would also like to announce that a second season is planned to happen. Though season 1 is a higher priority right now, let's go see what Shorty has to say. What the fuck? Where did... I saw you missing. I turned back around to see if you're in the right spot, and then I just see you up there. Alright, sure.
You start off the video just looking at the floor. You look up and you're like, where the fuck? Where did you go? You turn, you look up, and you're like, what the fuck are you doing up there?
You know what, I'll leave that in, actually.
Yeah.
So, in case you guys haven't noticed yet, the actual interviews are different day. Oh, hang on. Oh. Okay, the actual interviews are like different days than the rest of the segment.
I couldn't notice.
No.
I mean, I couldn't notice.
No.
No.
Okay.
Yeah, I couldn't. Yeah. No, you don't need to come up here.
Come
You
here,
don't
come
need to-
here.
No. You don't need to. No. Not my butt. Not my butt.
I'm gonna get ya. I'm gonna get ya.
No.
Uh-oh. Ooh.
What did you do? No. No.
No, stop.
And I'm gonna get your butt now.
No.
Yeah.
Anyway, so this is the Nightfall interview. How are you doing, Shorty?
I'm great. How are you doing,
Hold on, let me
baby?
go into survival. Just to make this even more entertaining, because content. Ow.
Come here. Come here.
No, so this is how are you doing today, Shorty?
I'm doing wonderful, BB.
Are
How are
you?
you doing today?
I'm doing
yeah.
pretty good myself, yeah. You know,
Yeah?
this is certainly different than every other interview.
I don't know what you mean. I don't know what you could possibly mean. I don't know what
You
the
can't-
fuck is
you-
over here.
Don't you mess with anything in here. Ow.
What? Film start.
This is all genuine redstone. It works. I've tested it. Don't. Oh God.
Does it actually? Can we
Yes,
like try
yes.
it
It all works. It all works.
out? Can we like test it out? I
No,
wanna-
not right
Oh.
now.
Okay. Aww. Continue with the interview. You
I'm
fuck.
trying.
Do it. Go. Go.
God, I'm gonna die.
Go.
You're gonna kill
Do
me.
it.
You're actually gonna kill me.
Do Go.
Oh no! Oh no!
I'm gonna die. It casually falls off.
Oh,
What were you
no.
thinking, BB? What were you thinking?
I was thinking I wouldn't bonk my head on the top. Anyways, so what's your opinion on the fact that Nightfall has had a major setback?
I hate it, BB. One day I was at my seat and I was like, huh, you know what? I'm gonna start building for Nightfall so I can work on episode 3. I look at Alternos and I just see the whole entire server gone. And I hated it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not fair.
How are you intending to rebuild that? Because that was a big map.
Well, the map itself, all of that was not built by me. But the parts in the thing where you see it, you know, like the room and stuff like that, it was all furnished and stuff by me. So I just really gotta like furnish it and then all that shit.
How long do you think that's gonna take?
It shouldn't take me that long if I get people to help me out with it. Because there are things that I do have to build.
And has anyone offered to help?
Yes, people have actually.
Yeah.
Do you have food?
No, I'm in survival mode.
Then get out of survival mode, idiot.
I don't even know where you are. Oh, there you are. Meanie.
Yeah, but it
What
was just
food do
a
you want?
complete like I don't know, any food. It was a complete setback. I did not like it. I just have to not procrastinate at all.
You heard it here first, folks. Episode 3 releasing in 2040.
Yeah, 2040. Yay! I can't wait.
I'm so excited.
I'm really excited too.
No, how many episodes are you wanting season 1 to be?
Season 1?
Yeah.
Like, a bit. Like, no more than 30.
What about season 2?
Season 2 probably would be, like, at most 15.
Okay. That's a lot shorter. Any particular reason?
Um,
that doesn't involve spoilers, of course.
No in particular reason. Just because I feel like it.
Okay, fair enough. Because so far, this has kind of been set up as kind of like a Disney stereotypical story. Is this gonna get at all darker, or is it just gonna stick with your usual persona?
What's wrong with my persona?
It's really damn cutesy.
Baby.
Half of your hair is pink.
Baby.
Yeah.
I may put on a... Huh?
Yeah. Hey,
I
hang on
may...
a second. Wait. So, good question. What were we talking about?
Oh, now I remember. BB, come
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
I may put on a cutesy persona, baby, but I quite enjoy seeing my viewers cry. I'll put it like that. I like getting them attached to a character and then completely taking that away.
This segue definitely belongs in a fanfic.
What do you mean?
It's so completely normal, and it goes, "My secret. I'm not like other boys."
I'm quirky. I'm a quirked up white boy with a little bit of sauce, busting it down sexual style.
What is sexual style? Can we get a definition?
You're dancing very sexily.
Yep. Yep. Okay. Yep. Here,
Is this your favorite?
You said you wanted to see the thing? Which, here, we'll do that one. Is that gonna work with...
Whoa! Let's sit back and watch this for a second, BB. I swear to God, if this is an hour long,
It's a feature film.
it's just okay. There's a car.
There's the torches that I placed.
Yeah. Oh my God! Look, it's the seats we're supposed to be
Oh.
sitting at. Oh, is it over?
Woo!
Woo! Encore! Encore!
Yeah, no, but
Oh,
the
yeah.
redstone actually does, like, work. It's pretty cool.
Oh, okay, yeah.
What? So, like, but no, I was just asking because if it already requires 2 seasons, are you sure 15 episodes is enough for a second season?
Well, I'm just guessing because I know how season 1 is going to end, but I want to think if I want season 2 to be way in the future or to start whenever season 1 ends. So I'm just guessing based on how many episodes I would think each one
Yeah.
would
Yeah.
have.
Do you have...
If it's the future, then if it's like set in the future, then it wouldn't be as many episodes. But if it is set in whenever season 1 ends, then there would be probably as many episodes as episode 1.
Do you want to define future?
Like,
Because I've interviewed other things, and I've talked about other things that take place in, like beyond now. So, do you have a definition for future?
No, that doesn't contain spoilers.
Okay.
Yeah.
Will this connect to the wider Butterverse?
To the white, yes.
Okay. I like how, like, quick that was.
Oh no, yeah, no, this connects to the Butterverse.
Oh, okay, yes, but, like, what I mean is it going to be important to anything really in relation to the Butterverse?
I mean, probably. This is like set in a time, like, you know, they're. I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. I can't really give a distinct answer. Like, unless, you know, the king and queen Athena and stuff like that. Since it is a kingdom, and you know, usually you do hear about like kings and queens. You know, maybe it would be in like some like history classes or something.
Yeah.
But I don't know like if it would take a major part in things.
Okay. How dark is this supposed to... Actually, no, hold on. If you really want to tease a little bit, don't say which ones, but can you give us a number for how many characters are gonna die?
Let's see.
Just so the audience, right, whenever they're watching, they can, and the first one happens, they can be like, well, there's 1, there's 2, who's next?
Most of, like, not most, but a good chunk of France.
I'm sorry. A good chunk of France?
Well, I mean, it is a zombie apocalypse. And this is set in France. So, a good chunk of France, but though you may not see that, but main character-wise, only 2 to 3 would be living.
Oh, okay. Got it. Watch it be Athena's, like immediate family members only. It's Athena, the king, and the queen. That's it. No one else.
No. There's gonna be a bunch of people dead.
I always talk about the ones that are gonna survive, not die.
Oh no! Yeah, the ones that are gonna survive, there will probably only be 2 to 3, at least main character wise.
Jesus. Okay. Do you have a spin-off for this one in mind?
A spin-off?
Yeah.
Not at the moment, no.
Okay.
It depends on how well Nightfall does do, and from what I've seen, Nightfall is doing pretty well.
Come. In the future, do you have any? Because Nightfall, like a lot of other Butterverse stuff, has had a rocky history with actually getting videos out. So, do you have any plans on how to fix that beyond, oh, I'll just not procrastinate?
Well, I need to get into a motion of stuff. I need to get me and my cast members into a motion of turning in lines, building, body acting. We need to get into a certain habit of it. Oh, yeah. Okay. If I can get into a habit with my members of the studio, and I get a good editor that helps me, then I should be able to.
Yeah.
Since, someone was kicked from my studio that did a lot of stuff like editing and shit like that.
Yeah, speaking of which, he played a pretty important role. How are you gonna...
Oh no, I'm just gonna recast that person.
Well, sure, but, like, have you already recasted? Do you have anyone
Not
in
yet.
mind?
Not yet. No.
Okay.
It's definitely not gonna be someone I'm dating again. Because I've already gone into a habit of... See, first it was Alex who was gonna play him. Then, the last relationship. So yeah, I think I'm gonna stick with someone who I'm not dating to play a love interest in my stuff.
Yeah, amazingly, that seems to be the fix here for a love interest.
Yeah, it seems to... Yeah, How could I be so stupid?
Of course. Yes. Oh, hey, hang on, wait, look at that, wait, look at the, look over there. Anyways, I think that's the end of the interview. I think that's the end of the interview. That's about all the news available at this given moment about the series, but Shorty will get past this setback. Alpha Witch Academy takes place in the future of the Butterverse, and is about a magical school and a newer way of doing gacha content than Jacob is super used to. There is very little say about it, though, at this moment, except that it's, in the future. However, Episode 3 is being worked on. Now, there's a little bit of a hiccup that happened when making this interview, which is that whenever it was happening, I guess an error happened, it didn't record, got corrupted, whatever happened. It doesn't matter. I'll give you a bit of a rundown of what was spoken about, and then I'll give you the last minute, essentially, of the interview that did survive, which is basically, so, as I said earlier, Alpha Witch takes place in the future, but Jacob also clarified that the gods, through means that he did not necessarily establish, but through a series of events, the gods had returned to humanity, at least on a small scale. And that magic in Alpha Witch has not actually been decided how it's gonna be fully, done as far as the lore goes. He's still kind of having debates behind the scenes about whether he wants to make it connected to the Greek pantheon or a different branch or a whole new form of magic or how any of that's gonna work. He is thinking that between Alpha Witch Academy Episode 3 and Mutant Girl Season 3 Episode 2, Alpha Witch will probably come out sooner. And that is about all that we really went into as far as the big stuff. We kind of went into what the Butterverse really means to us and all that, but I think for the sake of catching you guys up, I think that's the actual like questions that you guys can have. Anyways, on to the past but for you future clip. Yeah, I know that was in reverse for you guys. It's cheesy. That's cheesy. I'm keeping it in though. Bye.
Whenever I sit back down and do this now, sometimes I discovered that there's an issue with having so many layers in an editing program because I had to actually put in a bunch of food props to try and make the school look larger than the small middle school of the mutant girl, and I got too carried away with that. So in a way, it's my own ambition kind of just shutting me down. So I guess in that regard, I'm the one who's being punished by the higher beings for that regard for my own hubris.
Be careful, I can hear Zeus coming around.
Oh god, his fingers close to the button now.
Ah.
Yeah, I'd find that issue later on in episode 12 of the Mutant Girl when not of season 2 of the Mutant Girl when there was the massive lab scene that also took a bunch of layers and then realized the correlation. So if anything, both shows are serving a similar purpose of letting me realize what mistakes I'm making and how to actually streamline that in future.
This is the end of this segment though. This project just isn't the highest priority right at this moment. The Vampiric War is a gacha series created by Aidan the Best and takes place in a modern-day Butterverse about vampires. This is one of the older Butterverse series and will require a bit of recasting, due to a group of voice actors being fired or quitting. While episode 2 hasn't been discussed extensively, a remake of the first one has been discussed and may be on the way sooner than you think. For Fallen Angels, we are proud to announce that there will be a new spin-off of sorts, except unlike others, will actually maintain the name of Fallen Angels. Today I introduce you a small film Aidan the Best is producing under Buttercore called Fallen Angels the Movie, The First Angels. This is the furthest back the Butterverse has gone in its entire history, besides, of course, the actual Greek myths, which, by the way, are canon. Well, at least a select amount of them. That's another... Maybe we'll go into detail about that another day. But for now, that's all you need to know. It will go all the way back to, of course, ancient Greece. The script was penned and finished by Aidan the Best and Jacob Butter. Next up, I also want to show the cast list, being Jacob Butter, myself, Puckasaur, Moggy Mike, Echo Angel, and Blackjack, along with a few others, but those are the ones that are currently nailed down. Aidan also wanted to show this just as a little gift, but I also want to say, just as the final thing for this film, I want to show the first scene in it, just as a small teaser.
Let me out, Sisyphus, or else, Sisyphus, let me out. I was trapped for so long, and no one was dying. I can't let that happen again.
How do you think we can stop that from happening?
Simple. By having me not work alone.
I suppose that would be best. Another humiliating event like that is not ideal. But tell me this, do you have any idea how to rectify mediocrity?
Thank you, my lord, for that wonderful compliment. But it is easy. Let us make creatures to help me.
By doing what?
By transforming some souls into similar beings to me.
Are you sure? Very well. You may commence your project. As for Sisyphus, bring that upstart king to me, and I shall deal with it myself.
Thank you, Lord Hades. Now, time to pick the lucky souls.
So in relation to this series, Season 3, that's right, Season 3 has begun its writing phase. Keep an eye out for that, okay? and, of course, for the next episode of Season 2.